What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're all doing well today. Today I'm really excited to do my review of the SITIVIEN ST102. This one here has a 3.3 inch D2 steel blade, 4.7 inch G10 handles for an overall length of 8 inches, and this one comes in at a claimed 3.98 ounces. Whoops. I think I just bumped the entire tripod. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and bring out the good old scale out here so we can check out to see if it is 3.3 ounces as claimed. Ooh. So it obviously, oh no, I'm sorry, 3.98 ounces is claim weight. So yes, it's coming in at the claimed 3.98 ounces. Really love when a manufacturer holds to the weight that they claim. So before I dive into the comparisons, I just want to talk a little bit about this knife because this one here is actually going to end up being in my March giveaway. I was going to tie that to 800 subscribers, but I thought it'd be more fun just to go ahead and say this is going to be given away at the end of March. So I give everybody a full month to actually get in on the giveaway. So this review is going to be my March giveaway video. You need to comment on this video if you want to get in on the SITIVIEN ST102 giveaway for March. Not tying it to 800 anymore, just going to give it away because I'm really still very grateful and I don't want to feel like it's contingent on hitting 800. I just want to say in March I'm doing a giveaway on this one to say thank you to everyone who subscribes, comments, watches the content, and interactions and engages with me. It means the world to me, so thank you. I appreciate it. So this video, make sure that you have your notification bell set to all so that you get notifications when the giveaway is going to go live. It'll be probably the last weekend in March instead of the end of March, so I don't have to keep y'all waiting forever, but I wanted to at least say that. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the knife and my experience with it when we get to the actual full review. Let's really quickly just run through some comparison knives so you get an idea of the size of what this 8-inch knife comes in to be like. First up is going to be the Spyderco Yojimbo 2. This one's the DLT Trading exclusive done in 20CV. I really love this knife. And the Spyderco Shaman. This one here has the fat carbon dark matter scales done in a skinny style with a lot of the holes removed. This was made by Carbonized over on Instagram. If you like those scales and you want to look at what he has, if you check out his page, he has a link to an Excel spreadsheet that'll tell you exactly that. So you can see here, this lengthwise, very similar to the Yojimbo 2. I'm sorry, the Shaman, but you can tell it's just an overall skinnier profile, but it has a nice cutting edge to it. So hopefully that really helps you if you're familiar with the Spydercos. Next, we're going to go ahead and bring out the crossbar locks. First up is going to be the Benchmade Bug Out, which is a very similar profile, but not quite as long. And we're going to bring out this SIG K320 made by Hogue, which is a little bit closer to the size. I believe both of these actually come in at 8 inches. So hopefully you can see they're very, very similar in length. Really hard to tell with the fisheye, but hopefully that helps you with the overall length. And then last, we'll go ahead and bring out a couple of budget knives that I really like for comparison. And that's going to be the Kubi KU321, also known as the Kubi Royal. So this has a very similar profile as far as how the knife is long, skinny, and has neutral ergos. And then another knife that I thought would compare really well is going to be the Artisan Cutlery Sirius, which is a Ray Laconico design. So a very, very similar profile to that knife. Let's really quickly run through the thickness profile comparisons so you guys can really get a sense of just how big this knife is. We're going to talk about that action here in a minute. That's upside down. So you can see this is a thicker knife because it does have G10 on top of liner, so it is a little bit longer than the Ray Laconico Sirius made by Artisan Cutlery, but it is actually a little bit thinner than the Kubi Royal because of the contoured scales. Here it is against the Yojimbo 2. You can see just a little bit thicker. And again, this is G10 sitting on liners, just a touch thicker. Here it is against the Shaman. A little bit thinner than the Shaman. And then lastly, we'll bring out the Bug Out. I know I don't bring the K320 out consistently, but I think if you've watched my channel long enough, then you really know. Let's talk about some comparable knives really quick. This is going to be a challenge to do because you're getting a lot for your money with this knife, but we'll bring some that are close in size. Here is the Oster, which is the Petrified Fish PF989. Really similar size and shape. Here is the SITIVIEN Elementum Button Lock, also very similar shape. Like these comparisons really, really well. Some other knives that you might be familiar with. Let's see here. Leave that one out for later. The SITIVIEN Imperium is another really nice comparison knife that you may be familiar with. And the Gannett from QSP, another knife that I think, whoop, that slipped right out my hand, that I think compares really well as far as a size perspective. Let me go ahead and put these away and we'll talk about this knife a little bit more. Alright, so the first thing that I'd like to cover while talking about this knife is the fact that I did not carry it. Again, I decided because it's a giveaway knife, I didn't want to sit here and try to use it to break down cardboard. I didn't want to try to use it to open packages and things of that nature. What I decided to do instead is I cut some paper and I did cut through a piece of cardboard, and the detail in the edge is fantastic. I did fidget with it plenty just to make sure it didn't come out of center and to make sure I got a really good impression of what I thought about the flipper tab on this one, and it's just a really, really well done knife. I mean, I don't know what else to say for something that you can get for under $30 that has excellent G10. It does have just a little bit of texturing to it so that it is grippy, but it's still slick. Fantastic access to the lock bar. Really can get to that quite easily. It is tuned fantastically. It has really good detent for the flipper tab so that it's really snappy. Can you fail it? Trying really hard? Nope. I don't think I could. The detent's so hard. You see how far my finger had to give for me while trying to push easily? I'm trying really hard to fail it. I mean, it's super hard. You can see how light it's coming out, but it just snaps right out. Now, I will say the only knock I'll say on this, while it does have really good jimping, I feel like the contact patch for that light switch is a little small, so it does have some discomfort on the finger, and if you flip it a bunch of times, you might start to feel that a little bit because it has such a heavy detent. Bearing action is really, really good. I think they're actually on bearings in phosphor bronze, I think. I can't really see. It might be nylon, but it doesn't matter. Fantastic. Lockup, I've flipped this 30 or 40 times, I think, just to test it enough to really get a sense of whether or not it's going to stay locked up, especially because I'm going to be giving this away and I don't want to give something away that's going to start to fall apart later. But that is crazy, crazy action. As you can see here, it has remained centered. The grind is pretty even on both sides. You can see the grind line here is pretty even. It doesn't look like it's distorted in any way, shape, or form. The tip looks pretty even as well. It looks like it's done really well on the tip. So it has a really good edge. Nice and thin behind the edge. See if I can get it to focus. I gotta bring it out of frame just a little because it'll focus on my hand. But right out on the tip, you can see it barely looks like there's anything between my fingers at all. So it has a really nice tip. Come on, focus on the fingers and not on the background. It wants to, there we go. That'll help. So you can really see really carefully as I follow along the edge here. You can see just how thin that is. And then when you come to about the thickest part of the blade, you can see here, still pretty thin, just barely thick behind the edge. I mean, when I got the Parrot earlier this year, I gotta move some of this stuff out of the way. I really just was blown away that you could get, now the Parrot being $30 and being a 3.25 inch blade, It was riding on nylon and phosphor bronze washers. It did have micarta, but it's a very slick micarta. So as far as grip is concerned, it's not like the newer micarta that you're seeing on like the Gannett that has a lot of ribbing and texturing to it. It's a little bit more slick, more like the earlier version of like the button lock Elementum, where it has texture for grip, but it's still a little bit on the slicker side. So what I'm saying is a comparison to this, which is maybe like $1 less. You're getting a 3.3 inch D2 steel blade that has bearings instead of phosphor bronze washers and nylons. It's like the sandwich style on the Parrot. So you're getting the bearings instead, but for that same price point, you're getting a better pocket clip. This is the better style pocket clip. The one that came on the Parrot was like, I don't have anything immediately nearby that's going to compare. Oh, it's like the Spyderco's. The Spyderco clip. I know that I have aftermarkets on all my Spyderco's, but it's like the Spyderco where it's kind of bolted down on top of the clip. The metal then comes up over and down, and it's a really thin piece of metal. This, in my opinion, this is the better built pocket clip. It's the low profile all the way across with a little bit of a ramp up here for you to get it in and out of the pocket, and it has enough access to go over those bolt heads really nicely. Milled internally, I mean, I'm almost at a loss for words what you can get if you really wanted just to have a beater budget knife. If you didn't want to spend more than $50, this knife for under $30 before taxes and shipping or whatever is mind-blowing. D2 has excellent edge retention. It's a good steel. Its strength is really good, but its toughness is not really that tough. Meaning, like, you know, if you try to beat on it or use it or abuse it, it's probably more likely to break than other steels. But if you're not doing stupid stuff with your pocket knife and you want something that's going to hold an edge a really long time and you want something that has really good quality, it is going to be really, really hard to beat this at this price point. I mean, I'm at a loss because it seems like you look at some of the other knives like the Spyderco's and the Benchmades, which have been giving you fantastic product for the money. I think people get really bent out of shape when you look at a product like that because they've been so cheap for so long. But now, you know, we have inflation. If you have good employees and you want to retain them, you got to give good raises, you got to give good benefits. You know, you don't want to lose valued employees, so you got to compensate them, and you have to get that money from somewhere. And they've been doing such a good job for so long, giving you fantastic value for an outstanding product. They're giving you S30V, S45VN. They're giving you M4 blade steels. They're, you know, manufacturing it here in the U.S. for the majority of their stuff. Very rarely do they have anything going overseas. Maybe some budget stuff from Spyderco, and their prices are going up. But if you think about the fact that you're still getting a U.S. made knife here in the U.S., all made U.S. parts, you're getting something that has build quality, backed by warranty, it has super steels, and you're getting all that for around $200. It's really hard to step back and understand that you're still getting a phenomenal value, fantastic product because their prices have gone up. I don't always agree. Like, I feel like the Shaman has gone way too high when you're looking at $230 for that, and it still comes with S30V. I think if they put S45VN or maybe some M4 or Crewwear at $230, I wouldn't even flinch. I just feel like S30V, even though it's a well-built knife and it's built tough, I just feel like they're a little bit out of their price market with that one, when you can go get an S45VN PM2 or Para 3, which is an equally good knife, maybe a little dainty in the tip, but still equally good for still under $180. Like, that's just mind-blowing that they're getting you that value. That is fantastic value. They're giving you their compression lock, which is the superior locking system, in my opinion, out of pretty much everything out on the market. Maybe the Shark Lock, might be something that might be a little stronger, but it's still young. It's still too early to tell. It's spring operated. It has more moving parts. So we still are yet to see if it's truly the superior locking system. But anyway, getting back to my point here, $30 for a well-built liner lock knife. You look at this has probably about 30% lockup. I know it's really hard to tell on the camera, but you're looking at about 30% lockup with 0 lock rock, 0 blade play, really well done ergonomics, nice access to the lock bar. It's not the best, not the worst, and fall shut action. Like, if you're worried about dirt and grit, this is going to be an easy knife to take apart and clean and put back together. I mean, if you're opening pallets of roofing tile, or you're opening bags of like mulch and stuff to put into a flower bed, if you're running your own business and you're into landscaping, yeah, it's going to get dirty, but it's super easy to clean out. Wouldn't be anything that I'd worry about. This is just unbelievable value. Like, I just feel like the fact that SITIVIEN is going in the other direction of the spectrum, when you think about the fact that you still are paying like 50 something dollars from like Kubi, who has D2 steel, hasn't switched over to 14C yet, and you're coming in at under $20 less. This is crazy. I know that they only have a couple of options, but I think that's fair, right? You get the black G10, or you can get the JG10, you get the uncoated D2. I really think that's fair for what you're paying for the knife. I think it's probably cheaper for them to limit the options and just make as many of these as they can and try to make up profit off of the bulk. This is really a recommendable knife, extremely recommendable. The branding doesn't even bother me for what you're paying. I really, it could be smaller and off to the side, but who gives a crap? I mean, this is really nicely done. Fantastic ergos. They give you jimping. They give you a pretty good sharpening choil, right? They have this little piece out here. I don't think you can do anything with it. Yeah, I'm touching. You can't really do anything with that. You might be able to choke up over top of the flipper tab, but I really don't think that you need to. I think you can get behind the flipper tab and still get a good enough choke up for your push cuts. This is just, I'm almost speechless. This is fantastic value. SITIVIEN is like a golden find. I know that there's some folks that already commented on the unboxing about the Gonzo, and I'm sure that's probably just as good value, but I like the look and the design of the SITIVIEN. I don't like the fireball on the side of the Gonzo. If I had to choose from an ergonomics, from an aesthetic standpoint, I feel like the SITIVIEN's a little bit cleaner of an option. But if it's a beater knife, who cares, right? This stuff is probably all going to wear away anyway. It doesn't feel like it's etched on very deep at all. Probably going to wear right off with some use. I'm not going to be using this knife, though. This is going to go right back into the box after this, and this is going to be my March giveaway. A little way to say thank you to everyone supporting the channel that has picked that subscribe button, and just a little bit of swag that I wanted to give back at the end of March. So it's just going to be the SITIVIEN. Since it's going to be the March giveaway, I'll reevaluate if I'm going to do something for 800, if I'm going to save that other stuff for 1,000. But I thought it'd be more fun this way, because even if we, if we're just a couple shy at the end of March, I don't know how fast we can grow to get to 800, but hopefully this is something that lets you know that I show my appreciation, because I'm doing this out of my pocket. And I wanted to do something fun to say thank you, and I just feel like whoever is going to win this is just going to absolutely love this one, even if it's not their primary carry. Even if this is just a little throw it in the truck or backpack or in an organizer somewhere or whatever, you can't go wrong with this one. It's a fantastic knife for the money. I'm not even going to worry about nitpicking anything on this. Really well done. Awesome job, SITIVIEN. Keep messing that name up. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate all the support. Don't forget to leave a comment below if you want a chance to win this at the end of March. Again, I appreciate all the support. I hope all of you have a fantastic week. Until next time, peace.